See that? See that? That's right, I'm a proud girl dad. And in this video, I want to talk about how Bitcoin right now, as I start this video, is 0.5% away from bullish confirmation and 3% away from bearish confirmation. What you need to prepare for in the next 12 to 24 hours. I can't help it. I'm a proud new father. What do you want me to say? If you're not on Twitter, meet my daughter hanging out with me in my office. This is from the other day, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Look at that smile. I love my daughter. I'm just proud. What can I say? And I want to introduce you to my daughter, Faith. There she is. Now let's jump into the charts. Everybody, here we go. I want to break this down. This is going to be a quick video, by the way. Head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulders. This is the daily chart and potential reversal happening right now. It's in play. You know, we've come out of that symmetrical triangle. A reversal would be simple. Back down, right? Nothing crazy. This isn't huge, but I want to break down some things going on the very short term. Before I do, head and shoulders, right? Very simple pattern, can be kind of messy. A lot of times I do a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders on these charts, and people are like, that doesn't look like one. But there's just some rules that need to apply, and it is one. And especially in Bitcoin and crypto, these patterns are messy. Like, there's so much volatility. So neckline, number one, is what we want to see. A clear neckline. We have it. Besides that, let's just see. Does the story of Bitcoin play out, right? And what I'm talking about is the story of a head and shoulders. The bulls stepping in, trying to make a move to break a previous high, kind of failing, right? Bears stepping in, bringing them back down to the neckline, very clear, consistent area, a support area. The bulls say, all right, let's try again even harder. We get a higher high. That's the head from that left shoulder. They fail. Bears bring it back down to that clear neckline. Right shoulder, right? Bulls trying again, quickly fail. That's a very small right shoulder coming back down. There's that wick to that neckline. You can see that right here was 2 days ago. And here we are. Now, confirmation would be Bitcoin falls below the neckline. That hasn't happened. And that's why in this video, I want to talk about this. This is a head and shoulders failure. So this is on techcharts.net, but talking about head and shoulders failure, in particular, a breach above the right shoulder would negate the chart pattern, the head and shoulders, and confirm it as a head and shoulders failure. Head and shoulders failure chart pattern price target is calculated by taking the height, I don't know why they wrote width, of the chart pattern between the head and the neckline and adding it to the highest point of the right shoulder. So let's look at this. Let's dig in on the 6 hour. So what they're talking about is a head and shoulders failure. We'll talk about a head and shoulders in a second, but a head and shoulders failure really looks like this. The right shoulder, right? So they're talking about the swing high of the right shoulder, currently like 11,545 or so. That being broken after bouncing off of the neckline. So we get the bounce off the neckline, and then we actually break this right shoulder swing high. Now, as you can see, Bitcoin, I started this video saying 0.5% away from bullish confirmation because that is it. And you can see for the last 3 6-hour candles, Bitcoin has struggled with that right shoulder swing high. There's resistance there. Confirmation for the bulls would be a break above that right shoulder, and a bullish target for that breakout would be up here. Remember the height of the head to the neckline, and you add that to the right shoulder. So we're talking right around $12,800 or so. So $12,800 target is in play if Bitcoin can bullishly break above this right shoulder and get some upward momentum. So time will tell there. But I wanted to just put that out there. Now, on the flip side, the bearish scenario for Bitcoin, here's the head and shoulders we just looked at. And this is on another 6-hour chart. But the other pattern we've been looking at is this rising channel of sorts with a breakout target of, I think it was 10,300 or so. And so we have a 10,300 breakout target for that rising channel that Bitcoin broke out of right here, the lower trend line. And we have a $10,100 target for that head and shoulders that we were just talking about. So $10,300 to $10,100 target for Bitcoin in these two bearish scenarios. Mind you, I think they're short-term bearish. I don't think it's that big of a crazy thing. I mean, we're talking 10 to 12% or so. That's kind of like nothing for Bitcoin, but it's something to anticipate, especially because in these videos as of recently, we've really been talking about a potential pullback for Bitcoin, because as you remember, we also had, if we zoom out a lot on this daily chart real quick, we have this, and that's a really terrible looking line, but let me draw kind of a more clear line right around this $10,500 area. Now that's the neckline of an inverse head and shoulders that Bitcoin has broken out of, right? And when we get a breakout out of any pattern, again, we look for pullbacks and throwbacks to the trend line it broke out of. Right here, 10,500. So we've already been talking about 10,500 as a throwback area for Bitcoin from this swing high to 12,500. And, you know, at the time, it sounds like a lot, right? We're talking from a swing high of 12,500 down to 10,500. It's a big dip, $2,000. But again, it's only 15%. I mean, altcoins right now are pretty much doing that in minutes. So Bitcoin is actually very not volatile as of lately. And even if Bitcoin hits these targets, we have a few downside targets, everybody. 10,100, 10,300, 10,500, and 10,000 just a psychological target because everybody's just been waiting for Bitcoin to break above it and maybe a little concerned it's not going to stay above. So we have a lot of downside potential for Bitcoin, but mind you, it's only 10 to 15%. And what happens there in that area is probably the most crucial thing that we need to keep an eye on. So on the very short term, though, here it is. I mean, we are extremely close, 0.5% away to see what happens at this right shoulder swing high. Let's see if the bulls can step in and make some moves and Bitcoin can continue to the upside. If Bitcoin does fall and fails to stay above, and this head and shoulders plays out when we break this neckline around $11,140 or so, if that happens, if Bitcoin comes down, I'm sure many of you own altcoins. Just be mentally prepared. It's going to get probably, it's going to get a little crazy, right? And altcoins have already been down in the last week or so. So just prepare for that volatility, mentally prepare, mentally have a plan, how you want to handle that. Everybody's got a different portfolio, different plan, different strategies. Be prepared to buy the dip if that's what you want to do. But don't freak out. That's pretty much what I would say. It's all a mental game. Just be prepared for either scenario. We know our targets, 12,800 to the upside, right around that 10,200, 10,500 to the downside. What are you going to do? That's up to you. Don't take financial advice from YouTubers. Everybody, I hope you're having a good Friday night. That is it for tonight. Hit the subscribe on the way out. If you're not a subscriber, hit the like. It means a lot to me. I appreciate all of you for cruising by. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.